Each year, roughly 1 out of 6 Americans get sick. 128,000 are hospitalized and 3,000 die from foodborne diseases. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Joining me now is the Emerging Issues Specialist for the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, Tim Slawinski. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're in charge of keeping those numbers down, keeping people eating safe food, making sure the farmers to the grocery stores, to the restaurants, everyone involved in food is keeping our food source safe?
Correct. The main responsibility of our department or our division is to ensure public health related to food safety. So we want to ensure that the Michigan food supply is safe. And we do that through a variety of ways. Obviously, if for anyone who's buying or eating food in Michigan, we want to make sure that they feel it's safe, they feel it's wholesome, and they can trust it. And that's not just for Michigan, because a lot of the foods produced in Michigan are also exported out of the country, and they're also sent to other states, and we want to make sure that anyone who buys our food is safe. We do that a variety of ways. We make sure our laws are up to date and consistent with current science. We have programs that enforce those laws, which also involve a lot of training and education. And we also respond to various incidents that happen in the industry.
Why is sort of your oversight so important, or food safety so important? You know, we have the federal government, correct? We know they have all kinds of federal laws, but the states all sort of have their own different rules and regulations when it comes to food safety?
Yeah, and there's a big push right now for what's something called an integrated food safety system. And what that means is you have your federal government, you have state government, you also have local government, and we're all doing our part to protect public health and address food safety concerns. We want to make sure that all those efforts complement each other. So as part of this integrated effort, we're working together, we're partnering with our federal agencies and our local agencies to make sure that the work we're doing doesn't duplicate each other and it complements each other.
Obviously, you're out monitoring and setting rules and regulations for restaurants and large ag operations and that type of thing. But what can the general consumer do? Are there any tips for those of us who may be purchasing or, obviously cooking and preparing food in our own homes?
Yeah, the consumer is a very important part of the food supply in terms of keeping food safe. You want to make sure what you're buying is at the right temperature, and when you get it home, you want to make sure you're keeping it at the right temperature. Make sure your refrigerators are 41 degrees or below, and making sure you're keeping raw meats away from ready-to-eat foods, and so you're not cross-contaminating. And then when you're cooking, to make sure you're cooking to the proper temperatures.
So we all take a little responsibility when it comes to keeping our food safe.
Yes, everybody in the food chain is responsible for keeping the food safe, from the farmers that grow the food or that raise the animals, to the manufacturers that process the food, to the restaurants that prepare it, or the grocery stores that sell it, all the way down to the consumer.
I would imagine your job is challenging rules, regulations, changing all the time. The new push now to change labeling, that we should be made aware of certain pesticides or things that are used on our food. Is that something that you're involved in as well? I'm
not directly involved with the pesticide piece, but yeah, it is challenging, and things change all the time because science changes. We learn new things, and so we have to update our laws and update our rules to address that.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep up the good work. Whenever we hear of a little outbreak, there's usually not anything that was based in Michigan, and certainly when it is, I know you're out there trying to keep that contained and minimized as well. Thanks again.
All right, thank you.
For more information on today's topic, you can visit michigan.gov/food safety or call toll-free 1-800-292-3939. Today's Comcast Newsmaker was Tim Slawinski, the Emerging Issues Specialist with the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development.